Hello, this is Gerald Jovan. After having finalized a video about fame and then also fate with DE, I thought, okay, it will not be so difficult to add a third example of an explanation of what is really happening in a word when we choose a couple of letters, like in the word faith. Can it inspire us? How does it inspire us? And what are the advantages or disadvantages? They can all be sensed by understanding also the way how letters really are focuses, and they drive your focus almost like a living entity. And I looked up on the internet with vector what is faith. I have again these hands, almost like I had it also in my previous video. Most of the times you have then a cross on top. I'll keep it a bit neutral in the beginning, so I will keep also the star from my fame. I will keep that far. Can that be used or not used? I just use a neutral symbol just to start without any preconceptions of what I'm going to do, but I'm going to look into the word faith. And I will look at what is this living entity, what is this inspiration from letter to letter, what is the direction that is giving this as a focus, how can it inspire us, what's the combination of this focus. I have a backing of theory, I will not talk about that too much. I have already explained the beginning of this word in the previous video, fei. It's only written a little bit different, but I'll continue from there. So what I already had was fei here with e and y, the way it is, and how it was also with that focus of a. I have that here as well, f, a. Fei is there as well. And what is the f? I will repeat just a little bit. F is a direction of thought that wants to go forward, like the f has it, but it has a lot of feedback, so it has a lot of counter feedback, so it is a push forward with what you want to achieve, and it's difficult because there's a lot of things that go against it. So you really have to have a slightly push into your wish to go forward, because there are things working against it. With the a, that was a focus that you can say, I can do it. But with the e, the double e and the y to it, it says, okay, I have to go through a certain time process, which is not always going straight. It is a path that is going a little bit like this. It's not going to be easy. So what's the next letter here? Fate is differently written as fate with DE. Here it is written with A plus E. E gives it something extra because E is also an idea, which also gives you an idea, maybe also how to solve the situation. So it might be an idea. What is the E? It is a letter from the last category of focuses, and that is a focus. This kind of focuses of the last category are all about contextual reorganizations, finding a right formula or frame to fit in so that it can be used at every right time and place. That's basically the kinds of focuses of that last category. The letter E is there at the last options of that category. And it is about the limits what you can do in the feedback system. And where do you have it? You have it after the focus of the negative, let's say, because here the feedback is so big that it's almost going to feel negative. That's why that first point, the starting point, is also negative. So the feedback is working against your own push, so it's completely working against it. But the solutions are in the next frames, so it still can grow from there. Things are not going well, but you have an idea. That's what the E is. I have an idea that it can be different, that there can be done something about it. we're following always a certain logic, but or a certain tendency, and who says this is a good thing, because sometimes you have to be, you have to change things, so because things are not going well. So here we understand things are not always going well, but we can make a difference in this feedback system as well, and we can do that by having this idea, to having this effort. We have an idea, we put it in, and that's what we will do within this effort that we already have. We have an idea, we put that in. So thanks to that, we can continue actually our path without interference. Instead, we have something that works in favor of our effort, because we have an idea that it can also, the negative things can bring us further. They can also, even negative situations, we can go through it, we can swim through it, we can find a way through it, because we have an idea how to do so, because we know we can make a difference. It's like the staircase a little bit. It's like a staircase that, okay, even every time when there's a counter feedback, we can still have that extra plus in E. The next letter will be the T. Funny enough, I come to the cross point as well. Again, the letter T is in the second second place of the first category of focuses. This category of focuses is about focuses in space, or focus upon something objective, on something practical. The T is actually the first point where you say, okay, I'm going to work practical. So that will be a practical point. I have a reference point that I can use, and that I can use and can continue to use, because it has also something practical. That's the letter T. The practical point of reference. The next point will be the H. The H is almost the opposite of E. It is actually within the feedback system. There is also a point where you see things are changing and so on, and even when the feedback is coming back, sometimes this works in favor. So it is actually the opposite. So you start to understand things can also go well when we follow up the feedback systems, when we follow up what comes to us. So when we really are going to follow that up, we can find the positive things. We can maintain our path, and that's what you have in the end. You have a reference point that is practical, and that practical point can be repeated and can be continued, and can be continued to be an inspiration. And that will be the inspiration of your step up to the point of reference that will be practical for you to focus upon. It's not what I expected to have in the end, because I'm sometimes really skeptical about belief systems, which can be really close things down as well, because they fill in and so on, because that's what people usually do. They fill in things and they say, I'm not going to work on this, and I'm not going to be confronted with this, because I have my morale, my good morale, and I keep this, and so this is good enough, and it should be good enough. Let the judgment come afterwards. That's my belief. That's what I often see, and that's what really annoys me then when I see that. But faith and belief seems to be not the same thing. Faith is something, could be something religious, it could be something not religious, but it helps. It is a steady point of reference, which you see is working in favor to use faith, of have faith. Have faith. Just go on and have a bit more effort to go into that direction, and because you will notice the things that you need, they can inspire. So in that way, it seems to be, even without knowing this beforehand, when I focus upon the word faith, it seems to be something that actually works in favor of you from that word onwards. How this can inspire from that word onwards. Okay, this was it for this time. Thanks again for watching. Bye bye.